On April 28th, Pokemon is releasing the Dragapult EX League Battle Deck, and this is going to be an absolutely incredible drop for new players wanting to get into competitive play, or for competitive players that don't happen to have Dragapult yet, because this is arguably the strongest pre-constructed deck that Pokemon have ever put out. And I think it's absolutely phenomenal out of the box, and it doesn't take much to make this a deck that is truly a championship contender. So today we are going to look at the Dragapult League Battle Deck straight up, show you what cards are in there, and show you how to play the deck without any upgrades. And at the very end, we'll look at an example upgrade list and talk about the potential changes you might want to make after you've gotten comfortable with the deck out of the box. I'm Jet from inthirdperson.com. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's go and review the Dragapult League Battle Deck. Dragapult EX is a Stage 2 Dragon-type Pokemon with 320 HP. Because it's a Dragon type, it does not have weakness, which can make it incredibly difficult for most decks to take down. However, in this current post-rotation format, Clefairy EX is here now, and that can turn all Psychic Pokemon into attackers that can hit Dragapult and other Dragon-type Pokemon for double the damage. So that is definitely a concern going forward, but more often than not, you're not worried about getting hit for weakness. This does have 2 attacks. Jet Headbutt for 1 colorless energy does 70 damage. Yes, this will take out smaller basic Pokemon that evolve into bigger things like a Charmander or a Ralts, but you generally don't want to be using this attack on Dragapult. You really want to rely on the second attack, Phantom Dive, where for a Fire and a Psychic, you do 200 damage and drop 6 damage counters on your opponent's bench in any way you like. And putting 260 damage on the board is phenomenal. At that point, 2 turns is 520. You can take a ton of prizes with that if you spread the damage out right. And 200 to the active can be a little underwhelming, especially now that we don't have Radiant Alakazam to move the damage around a little more freely, but you are still putting a ton of damage on the board. And if you're able to play your cards right and map what things you're going to attack and when and where to put the damage counters, it's not that hard to set up scenarios where you're scoring 3 prize KOs, 4 prize KOs, sometimes upwards of 6 prizes. That might actually be a little more difficult in post-rotation times, but if you are attacking twice with Dragapult, you're really looking to take more than 2 prizes in that one go and give you an amazing shot of winning the game. If anything, Dragapult is the only deck that can really do that, which makes it one of the most powerful decks in the game. We have a full suite of Dragapult cards for Dragapult, for Drakloak, and for Dreepy. I think for Dragapult is actually a little too much. We'll talk about more details on upgrading the deck later. I don't think you need 4 Dragapult. I'm personally comfortable with 3. I've seen a lot of competitive lists cut this all the way down to 2, but one thing I don't think is up for debate is you want 4 Drakloaks in the deck. This card's absolutely amazing. Its Recon Directive ability allows you to look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one into your hand and put the other one at the bottom of your deck, giving you a little extra draw power. And in most games, you want to have multiple Draklooks on the board and then 1 Dragapult so that you have a consistent draw engine while also having an attacker. You do not want to have multiple Dragapults on the board. 1, because it's a potential liability, but 2, you also just want to have those Draklooks in play as a draw engine. Fezandipiti EX is an amazing inclusion in the League Battle Deck. If one of your Pokemon was knocked out on a previous turn, you just get to draw 3 cards, and that's amazing draw power for pretty much any deck. This is why we see Fezandipiti EX in pretty much every deck in the game. Super glad that it comes in the League Battle Deck. We also have Tatsugiri, which isn't in every Dragapult deck, but from time to time it's there. You may or may not take this out of your deck when you upgrade it, but for the time being, I think it's fine. Its Attract Customers ability allows you to search your deck. Well, it lets you look at the top 6 cards of your deck, and you can grab a supporter card that you find there and put it into your hand. Again, just a little more draw power. It's not always going to find you supports that you need, but there will be times where it's going to help you out of a jam, especially if you put Rescue Board on there on the Tatsugiri, and you can use it to pivot in and out of the active between knockouts, so you can grab supporter cards. The biggest point of contention in the League Battle deck is Xatu, where we have a 3/3 line of it, and I wouldn't even think it's that big of a deal. Yes, most competitive lists don't use the Xatu line, but it's still a good addition in Dragapult, especially if you're starting out, and it's not that hard to replace it. But the reasons you would want Xatu in the deck is that it provides you with a little bit of acceleration and a little bit of drop power. Clairvoyant Sense allows you to accelerate a psychic energy from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon and then draw 2 cards, and that frees you up to playing other ace specs as well. Gets you a little energy acceleration because getting a fire and a psychic can be awkward, and getting again a little more draw power is very nice. Most people are going to swap this out for a Dusk Noir line, and that's totally fine, but I don't think you need to be in a rush to swap these out. If you want to rock with the Xatu line for a while, that's totally fine. For trainer cards, we've got 1 copy of Counter Catcher, where if you're behind on prizes, you can gust an opposing bench Pokemon into the active. Dragapult is oftentimes fighting from behind at the beginning of the game, so Counter Catcher is a great way of gusting an opposing bench Pokemon into the active while still having the opportunity to play your supporter on that turn, versus, say, Boss's Orders, where you're burning your supporter to do the same thing. However, we still have a copy of Boss's Orders here, and no one's going to debate having Boss's Orders. Like, pretty much every deck has Boss's Orders because gusting a bench Pokemon into the active is just an incredible thing that one can do. 1 copy of Mela, where if one of your Pokemon was knocked out on the previous turn, you can attach a basic fire energy card from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon, and if you do that, you can draw until you have 6 cards in hand. Again, getting that energy and maintaining a steady stream of Dragapults can be awkward at times, but Mela is a way to fix that. Again, this is 1 card that is sometimes in competitive lists, sometimes it's not. If you want to take it out for something else, that's okay, but I don't mind Mela being in the deck. 3 copies of Arven, which allows you to grab an item and a tool card and put it into your hand. Arven was one of the MVPs of the last season, especially in the context of a Dragapult deck, where you're oftentimes grabbing Rare Candy for a Seal Stone to grab the pieces to get Dragapult set up really quickly. Unfortunately, we're in a post-rotation format where a lot of those consistency pieces, like a Four Seal Stone, are not in here anymore, so Arven is just not as strong as it used to be, but still incredibly powerful, getting you a number of pieces. And it's 3 copies here. Most competitive lists will still have 4, but again, 3 Arven's still great. The League Battle deck actually gets a little spicy with TM Devolution and TM Evolution. We'll start with TM Evolution because this is a great setup card where you can attach TM Evo to your Pokemon in the active, and then for 1 colorless energy, or for 1 colorless, you can evolve 2 of your bench Pokemon to the next stage. Again, setting up stage 2s can be really awkward because of having to evolve twice, and Technical Machine Evolution cuts one of those steps out of the process, potentially getting you to attack by turn 2, and potentially getting you, depending on the situation, you might want to get 2 Dreepies evolved up to Drakloak, or you might want to do 1 Dreepy and 1 Natu in order to get that to a Xatu, so then you can accelerate energy on the following turn. As for Technical Machine Devolution, for 1 colorless energy, it devolves each of your opponent's evolved Pokemon by putting the highest stage evolution on it into your opponent's hand. And this is especially devastating against decks that use Rare Candy, where they've got a very small Pokemon that is left over. In certain scenarios, ideally you want to place damage on those Pokemon so that when you devolve them, they get knocked out, but you also will hurt them by devolving them if they use Rare Candy, and then they've now wasted that Rare Candy, and it's going to be way harder for them to get that Pokemon back into play. 1 copy of Super Rod allows you to shuffle 3 in any combination of Pokemon or basic energy from your discard pile back into your deck. 2 copies of Rare Candy, which allows you to evolve from your basic all the way up to stage 2. In earlier times, we used to run 4 Rare Candy, and 2 is kind of the preferred number now, where we are in a format that has Badoo, which is item locking like crazy, and you don't have as many opportunities to use Rare Candy. And it's also kind of okay because you do want to evolve into your Drakloaks as well, which gives you that extra draw power. You might want to consider more Rare Candy, but 2 is fine for the time being, and within the context of this League Battle deck, I think it feels okay. 4 copies of Buddy-Buddy Poffin, phenomenal card to have in most decks, especially this one where you've got a lot of small evolution Pokemon. This allows you to grab 2 basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less from your deck and just put them directly onto your bench. And that's going to be our way of getting our Dreepies and Natus in play. No nest balls in this list, which is a little odd. You might want to throw 1 to 2 in there, especially to get that Fezandipiti out. But for Buddy Poffin, phenomenal. 2 copies of Earthen Vessel allows you to grab well, you discard a card first from your hand, and then you can grab 2 energy from your deck and put that into your hand. Oftentimes, you're trying to grab the Psychic and the Fire energy all in one go, and this is especially great if you've got a Xatu already set up. You grab the 2 energy with Earthen Vessel, attach the Psychic energy with the Xatu, and then attach from hand to the Fire energy to the Natu, and you get all set up in one go. We've got 3 copies of Iono, where both players shuffle their hands, put it to the bottom of their deck, and then draw equal to the number of prize cards they have remaining. This is going to disrupt your opponent's hand while also giving you a fresh set of cards to look at. And the later in the game that you play this, the more powerful that it is, because your opponent could be left, depending on how many prizes they have left, maybe 2 cards, maybe 1 card, and it can be very difficult for your opponent to recover after a really good Iono. 4 copies of Ultra Ball, you discard 2 cards and grab any Pokemon of your choice and put it into your hand. 1 copy of Switch, that simply allows you to switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. A lot of competitive lists don't run Switch, but some of them still do, which gives you some pivoting options here and there, especially where maybe there's something with the Tatsugiri where you don't have the rescue board and you want to find a supporter first before you switch it into Dragapult, and I don't mind its inclusion in the League Battle Deck. 1 copy of Professor Turo Scenario lets you put one of your Pokemon in play into your hand, and you discard all the cards attached to that Pokemon. This is kind of a way of healing your Pokemon, especially Dragapult, where if it gets damaged, you can just take Dragapult out, and then ideally you've got another Drakloak in play. You can evolve that new one into a fresh Dragapult and continue your offense. And then we've got 2 copies of Rescue Board so that we reduce the retreat cost of our Pokemon in the active by 1, and that gives us essentially free retreat on, I think pretty much everything here is going to have free retreat if you put the rescue board on there. So just giving you some flexibility in how you move around the board. Last but not least, we've got 10 energy, 6 psychic energy, and 4 fire energy. So your general game plan, I think more often than not, you'll want to go second so that you have the opportunity to play a supporter card, and you're going to want to get down a couple of Dreepies and at least 1 Natu in order to start. But at the latest, on your 3rd turn, you really want to have Dragapult bombing with Phantom Dive and dropping tons of damage on the board. And ideally, like Phantom Dive, the first Phantom Dive might not get you a KO. Like you just very much soften a multi-prize Pokemon in the active and soften something up on the bench. The second Phantom Dive, you really want to be taking more than 2 prizes if possible. Again, you can set up some really crazy turns where you're taking 2, 4, maybe even more prizes than that. It's going to take some practice to get a feel for where to set the damage up on the board, but if you can get a handle on Phantom Dive as an attack and get a handle on this deck, then you're in a really good spot being able to pilot one of, if not the best deck in the game. And again, out of the box, I think this is a really strong build. And there's a couple of changes you can make here and there. And yes, Xatu switching out for a Dusknoir line could be a potential option, but you could play this and dominate right out of the gate. And with a couple of changes, this is a deck that could win you a regional championships, maybe even worlds. I know I'm hyping this up quite a bit, but yeah, Dragapult is one of the strongest archetypes, and I have a hard time seeing it fall completely out of the top tiers in the following year. So yeah, Dragapult League Battle Deck, really awesome product. Looking forward to grabbing this when it comes out on April 28th. And now let's go and look at this deck in action. Okay, yeah, we'll throw Tatsugiri in the active. And yeah, let's throw Dreepy down too, just in case. Don't want to get donked here. I've been playing a lot of Poison Archaludon. That's my favorite deck right now. Ooh, we've got some new sauce here. Someone already playing the Ends Zorua. Love that for them. Now let's go and grab Dreepy. And do we actually get a second Natu here? Or do we go with a 3rd Dreepy? I don't necessarily think we need 3 Dreepy. Let's go 3 Dreepies. I could have gone either way on that. Let's go and attract customers, see what we grab. An Iono. That's not bad. I might Iono on the following hand anyway. And let's attach an energy to the Dreepy. This way we've got a little more draw power, even if we don't necessarily have the energy attachments. Yeah, I might want to shake up our hand anyway. I guess we could grab a rescue board with the Arven, and then we can Iono. That would be kind of cool. I think one thing I will have to be concerned about is that Dragapult doesn't do a lot of damage to... We don't one-hit KO a Zoroark, and they have that revenge attack, which could be very bad for us. So that could be bad news. I do see a Badoo now, and that could be a problem. Again, we can't play the Earthen Vessel. We can play a Rescue Board, though. Oh, we're going to get Iono'd anyway. Alright, that's fine. Hopefully they don't get a switch out here. Oh. Double... Ends Castle. Oh, they're going to get the item lock off. That's unfortunate, but not the end of the world, right? Not the end of the world. And we get double Drakloak here with the second energy. And we get a Xatu as well. That's crazy. So let's go and evolve double Drakloak here. And we probably don't want... Let's go and attach the Psychic Energy to the Drakloak. Arguably could have used it for a hard retreat here. And that might have been the better play. Keeping that. The Mela, I don't think we need the Natu. Actually, yeah, the Natu would have been better because we have the Natu right now. Okay. Ooh. Ultra Ball. Let's go grab the rescue board. And that gives us an out for later. And I don't think they have an easy way of shutting off that. So we'll go and... Oh yeah, we have attract customers as well here. So we can go... Oh, nothing. Alright. And we wait. TM Devo could be fun, right? Again, we don't fully damage... We don't one-hit KO a Zoroark here. So we'll go and see. And ideally, we don't play the Iono. I guess it's not the end of the world if we play Iono. Okay, maybe it is better to not play Iono if we don't absolutely have to at this point. Because we've got Dragapult ready to rock. Almost ready to rock. Right? And we can start bombing soon. And they've only got 2 cards, so if they don't have a draw supporter here... Oh, they do have the draw supporter. Iono. Okay, that's actually fine. Do they have any dark energy in the discard pile? Nope. No ends PP up shenanigans here. We should get Dragapult rolling on the following turn. Oh, okay. Ends PP up. It's time. Oh, they got it. They're going to free retreat and start bombing. They're going to get a snipe attack here. That's not good. And they can bomb and take this out. That's unfortunate. Down too early. Hate that for me. They do lose all the dark energy, though, so that's something. But yeah, losing all of that right off the bat is bad. But we can soften up the Zoroark, and we can take out this Badoo, assuming... Yeah, we're going to attack on this following turn. And we can unfair stamp them as well. And let's go put the rescue board on the Natu right now. And we can get rid of... We can get rid of the Buddy Poffin at this point. I think we can put a Dreepy down, though. And let's go and grab some energy. Uh-oh. We need a Psychic. Oh, we need the Fire is the most important thing. And the Psychic. Okay. So if we go in Arven... Ooh. Yeah, let's go in Natu. Clairvoyant Sense. And we'll attach it to a Dreepy here. So we can draw some more cards. And we can Arven up Ultra Ball. And do we need... Do we need a Super Rod here? Or a Counter Catcher? Counter Catcher might actually be good. Do we take out the Darman? Yeah, I think we actually gust up the Darmanitan, take out the Badoo, and also... Okay. Ultra... Oh, we can't take both. Okay, we need Ultra Ball and... A TM Devo could be fun. Okay. So let's go attach Basic Energy. Ooh, are we gonna be able to... You know what? Let's get rid of the Iono. And... TM Devo could be fun. Okay, we'll get rid of the Rare Candy. We'll get rid of the Rare Candy. Let's get Dragapult online here, and then we'll Unfair Stamp. And let's stamp them. And hopefully we can get, like, a Drakloak online here. Yep. Great. And then Mela can get us another piece, another Fire Energy after for a second Dragapult. So let's go Fez here, actually. Fez is great. That gives us even more draw power. Let's draw 3. And they're going to need to get 2 energy up, which is going to be a problem. Let's go and drop 3 to take the Badoo out and soften up the Zoruas. Because that's an easy extra KO if they don't get that evolved up. Okay. We do have, like, if they, in a nightmare scenario, they are able to pop off here. Yeah, maybe taking out the... Yeah, they're still ahead on prizes. If we can gust up the Darmanitan, then they're in trouble. Then they're in big trouble. And Counter Catcher that up and soften up either of these would be good. Yeah, maybe we just take out these two, and then, like, they've got nothing. Uh-oh. Okay. Ends PP up, plus, like, an Earthen Vessel... they can't do that. Let's see. I've never played against... This is literally my first post-rotation match. I've never played against a Zoroark deck. Not sure what we're up against here. Taking out the Darmanitan feels really good. Seems to feel really good. But let's see how they play it. I would imagine ends PP up plus something else, so you can get this Zoroark rolling. But yeah, if we target out TM Evo... Okay, I think they just really wanted the energy. And do they copy? I'm guessing one of the cards is end PP up and they attack with the fresh Zoroark. At which point, yeah, taking these two out. The Darmanitan, I think, is the big problem here. The Zoroark is by itself not going to do anything. And they might get the Reshiram down. They got rid of one. They've got lots of energy in the discard pile. Ends PP up's got to be in here, right? Gotta be. They're not just sitting here with nothing. They're not just sitting here with nothing, right? At which point, yeah, I still think we got to take out the Darmanitan because that's the single biggest threat here. And we can take 2 prizes, and then they've got to get 2 energy on a Zoroark plus figure out another attacker. Okay, what's the play? Do they turn this into a Zoroark, or do they get the Reshiram out? At which point, then we have another... Okay, they get another Zoroark. Try and keep drawing for more. So we can't snipe out. I still think we need to take out the Darmanitan. And just try and play a longer game here. Yeah. Okay. Let's gust the Darmanitan and take that out entirely. Now, the fire energy in the discard pile is actually not the end of the world. Yeah, we will grab another Drakloak and get that set up. And let's go Drakloak again. And Iono right now. Earthen Vessel we don't need. Iono's okay. And let's go Arven. And can we counter catcher plus, yeah, TM Devo? TM Devo would be nice to take these out as well, or take this one out. Let's go and counter catcher up the Darmanitan. And if we play our... How much is the Zorua? So we need 7 on it. So if we drop 7 on the other one, and let's get this Drakloak set up as well. And we are... And Super Rod, I don't think we need right this second. I think we're okay without. We'll Phantom Dive, and then we'll drop 7 on... Or drop 6 on the one with the energy. 6, 7. Now they have no attack. And we can Devo them down, and we take out these two in the process. Or we could even set up like a monster play where we take all 3 out at the same time, depending on how greedy we get. I don't think we have to go to that extreme, but we'll see. They're going to have a lot of draw here. TM Devo, though, is very nice. Oh. Well, TM Devo is not a play we can do anymore because they just Iono'd our hand. And, oh, we can still do it. We can still do it. Yeah, do we set up for an epic TM Devo play? I don't know if I want to play like that. I think we just Devo them down to just 1 and just try and push it out of reach at that point. Now, my other concern is with this is the only fire energy that we have, and if we don't have Mela handy, then that's going to be hard to get back. Right now, I think they might be stuck. I don't think they have another attacker ready to go. And that's going to be pretty devastating for them. At that point, like, do we... No, I think we just Devo and take 2 out. Yeah. Okay. Let's go and Recon Directive. Draw some cards here. A Natu, I guess. Just a thin. Thinning is winning. As they always say, we can take the Switch. And we can Arven for... Yeah, do we just Arven for, like, Rod at this point? If we're not going to be able to get the... If we don't know where the Mela is. It might be premature for... no, let's Rod, because then we can potentially get that back with other means. So we can Super Rod back in the Fire Energy in particular. The Fire Psychic, and then... Sure, we can take... I think that's all we need. I don't want to add any more into there for the rest of this game. I don't think we need it. And let's go TM Devo. And again, arguably, I could just, like, Phantom Dive 1 more turn and wait to take this out all in one go. But I'm scared. And we're just going to take these 2 KOs now and see if they try and push through. But yes, we could have had an epic triple wipe. But right now, yeah, they could evolve back into Zoroark, but now they need to retreat and get another attacker thing, ends PP up. Like, they need all sorts of stuff to make this work. And if we blast their attacker again, I think we need to soften up a Zoroark at this point. Get it 2... okay. Pecharunt. That will swing for 300, depending on where they want to go with this. Oh, okay. Actually, you know what? We just gust up the Pecharunt, and this is over. Yep. That's the play. That's the play. So, interesting choice to put the Pecharunt down. Not entirely sure what the strat is there. Getting the fire energy could be a problem. I think they're just going to try and... Did they just throw the game? Because why would they put the Petron up when we can just Phantom Dive that for 200? Unless they play like a switch out, ends PP up, switch out into something else, but like they're swinging for like 170. Okay. Okay. Oh, then yeah, the Petrorunt, they can power up the Zoroark and then Petrorunt back in this, and they can at least get some damage in. I don't think they're knocking out the Dragapult at this point. Not enough damage on this Zoroark to take us out. They will get a swing in. It's creative play here. But yeah, now we just gust up the Petrorunt, and this is GG's. Oh, counter catcher Fez. Okay. And they swing for... Is it going to be enough? 200. No, they're still short. They're still short. And they've got poison on themselves. And yeah, we have multiple ways around this at this point. Let's not belabor the point any more than we need to, though. Like, pretty obvious outcome here. We just go and gust up the Petrorunt. And we blast it for 200. And for good measure, we'll get this to 7. Actually, no, we'll take it to 8. That way, in a scenario where this was going another turn, we could then just Phantom Dive it in the active and win. So there we go. Our first match against En's Zoroark EX. And that was an interesting match. I think there was a lot of different routes, and one of the things I like about Dragapult is the number of different ways you can approach a battle. And I think there was definitely a scenario where we could have taken all 3 Zoroarks out at the same time if I was greedy enough. I really didn't want to play with I didn't want to play with my food at that point. I went with taking out 2, and yes, we do leave 1 alive, but like that one needed to hard carry considering how far ahead we were in the game. And there are probably some other routes we could have gone as well. I think it was the correct move to target the Darmanitan in particular, so that they didn't have that snipe option against us, and then they were just left with a bunch of Zoroarks that couldn't do anything. But really cool match that showcased a bunch of different ways you can attack a battle with the Dragapult League battle deck without any adjustments. GG's. And just get better set up. Natu start is actually not necessarily the worst. We do have Buddy Poffin, we do have energy, we've got a Drakloak for the following turn, we have an Iono should something go down. And is it worth playing the... Okay, they have a Mew to start. Let's see what... if hopefully they're not playing a Donk deck. And I don't think they are. Not with the Buddy Poffins out. So, let's see what we're up against. Mew could be a lot of different things. Gardevoir. Post-rotation Gardevoir, of all things. Okay, so this could go. I have not played against post-rotation Gardevoir. It's definitely worse than it once was, but it is still good. This is something that, yeah, based on the way that the format has shaken out, the game as a whole has gotten slower. Okay, let's go double Dreepy. And maybe we play the rescue board here. Yeah, if we go and grab... Oh, we can TM Evo. That's actually kind of the play here. We go TM Evo and we get down... Yeah, I guess we can get another Buddy Poffin here. Right? And then we can set up a... Yeah, let's Buddy. And we can get a Dreepy. And I don't think we need the Tatsugiri. Is the Tatsugiri going to punish us later? You know what? We're going to have it. We'll have it, just in case. There might be an opportunity for that to benefit us later. I'm completely filling the bench. YOLO. We're just going for it. And let's go Natu up. And we will TM Evo. And let's actually get up a Dreepy. And let's get the Natu up as well. And that way we have some potential energy acceleration. Potentially a way to attack with Dragapult on the following turn. Off this Iono, we shall see. But I do like the possibilities of that. And let's see how New World Mew EX. Now, this could be kind of dicey, right? If they copy Dragapult's attack, that would be horrifying for us. And it looks like that's just kind of what they're building to. They research. Wow, they had a pretty dead hand there. Oh no, that's annoying. Because now almost certainly they are going to get a Dragapult attack in here. So yeah, we might get punished at some point here. Though they do not get a Kirlia out. It doesn't look like they have a rare candy combo here either. Curious to see what they go here. I would play Badoo item lock, honestly. Retreat into the Badoo. Oh, they just intentionally brick on the nest ball? Not sure why you do that other than shuffle the deck. Yeah, I think we're getting a Badoo here. Okay. Get some itchy pollen action. The Mew being powered up here is kind of horrifying, to be honest. Let's go and Recon Directive and see if we can get Dragapult is nice. Yes. And let's go and Recon Directive here as well. And we get the Fire Energy. Fantastic. So if we can get a Psychic after this, that would be amazing. I'm very mad at myself. I keep saying, or we could. The other thing we can do is just go in, take out the Badoo with the Jet Headbutt. No, I want the opportunity to potentially drop damage counters on this Mew so we can take that out in one hit later. If we get, and we don't get it. We don't get it. I'm pretty sure this Natu is cooked. So let's go and retreat. Unfortunately, we don't hit the combo we were looking for, but... and we're item locked too, so I can't turn this into what we want. Let's go and just Jet Headbutt for 70 here. Unfortunately, almost certainly, they are going to pop off and hit us for 200 plus. A Turo could be interesting if we get a... Uh-oh. They've got Guardy up. They've got no energy in the discard pile. Here comes Kirlia. I did know this was going to be a risk by playing that Iono. And we have draw power as well. Now they're going to snipe us out. And that feels terrible. Okay. What? Floatstone, or what's it called? What is the name of this? Gravity Gemstone. Some control decks would use this, but I'm not used to seeing it in Gardevoir at all here. Yeah, so they're going to Phantom Dive. They'll take out this Natu, soften this up by quite a bit. Probably drop an extra damage counter on, like, the Tatsugiri. That's a potential easy prize later. Oh, okay, they leave that out here. All right. Let's go and see what we can do. Unfortunately for us, like, man, this is not an ideal hand here. We get a fire. That's, I guess, better than nothing. Yes, we'll go and attach that. Oh, no, we don't want to attach right now. We don't want to attach right now. That would have been a very bad move. Would have been a very bad move. Okay. We could Turo, and... No, I don't think we can afford the Turo right now, though. Okay, let's Drakloak again. I need a Psychic Energy. There it is. Okay. So we can do this. And, ooh, now we can Turo. Now we can Turo. Because what we do is we Clairvoyant Sense to the Drakloak. We get another Fire Energy. We will attach. And we will go evolve this Dragapult up. And then we will Turo Scenario this Dragapult. Be done with it. Nullify that damage. And now they can move damage back, which is something that's profoundly annoying here. I'll put the Dreepy back in play. And we could also get a Xatu out. I don't know what the value of Xatu is right this second, other than just not getting knocked out. And there is value in that too. Let's go and actually we'll get rid of the Dragapult, and we'll get rid of the other Ultra Ball. Because there's 4 Dragapults in this deck. So we get double Xatu out, and now we are not worried about getting that sniped out. Let's go Phantom Dive for 200. Plus, where's the best use of the damage counters here? If we go, let's say 3, 6, and then maybe we drop it on Guardy? Yeah. Maybe there's an opportunity to gust something else. Yeah, let's do that for now. I guess we probably, if I was trying to do that, I should have gone and dropped all 6 on this Kirlia, and then potentially that's the next Phantom Dive takes them out. But right now, yeah, playing that Turo scenario is pretty clutch because that now prevents this Mew from taking any prizes on this specific turn. Gardevoir's in an awkward spot now too, because they have no other energy. It's all stuck on this Mew, and they're gonna have to soften some things up. Oh, Monkey Tori 160. Ugh. Actually, yeah, if we can just drop all 6 on this following turn, and we take out the Mew and we take out the Kirlia, and then Gardevoir will come in and power itself up. But like they have no drop. Oh, okay. Yeah, they have no drop power right now. This is something that Gardevoir is going to have to adjust to now that it does not have the Kirlia anymore. And the energy attach here is actually really good because then they take fewer damage counters. Uh-oh. Yeah, losing this Drakloak does suck. I forgot about that part. Ugh. Okay. Not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. Do we? Oh, okay. So down to 5. And we have no additional draw. Let's go Drakloak here. They're not going to be able to get both in one go. It would be nice if we could get Boss right now. That would be incredible. I don't think that's going to happen, though. We have 1 Dreepy, Drakloak. I don't think there's any point in... is there any point in getting down another Dreepy? Oh, we don't have another Dreepy. It's just Tatsugiri. Okay. Well, we just shuffle up the deck. Let's go and draw some cards. We'll attach Clairvoyant Sense to the Drakloak. And we can also attach here. And we've got the other Dragapult in hand. So let's hold on to our cards here. And unfortunately, if we drop 9, we're still going to be short. That's really annoying here. Let's go on Phantom Dive. We're going to take 3 prizes, but they are going to knock us out pretty easily here. So let's go and drop all 6 onto this Kirlia, and now they're relying entirely on Dragapult to attack. And they can realistically tank. They'll tank. It's going to take 2 hits, right? They knock out the Dragapult, but they're not doing any sort of like crazy bench sniping here either. And who knows what draw cards they have. Okay. They'll get Night Stretcher back, and okay, they Night Stretcher the Mew. And that's actually kind of horrifying because now they can power up, they can retreat and go in with the Mew. But if they go in with the Mew and they don't have a charm, then they just lose. So let's see where this goes. Curious to see, is it... I think Gardevoir is still the best thing to attack with. We can't knock out Gardevoir. Gardevoir will knock us out. So, yeah, just curious to see how they go about this. How are you guys enjoying the post-rotation format stuff? I've only played a little bit. I've been playing this, and then I've been playing Poison Archaludon, which I'm absolutely obsessed with as a deck. I think that deck is so much fun. And it's been good. I think it's going to be an adjustment. It feels like a lot of turbo cards got taken out, and the game is overall slower, which I appreciate. I appreciate that. And the decks are a little less consistent. And again, like that can be kind of frustrating, but oh, they just brick on the Night Stretcher. Okay. Let's see how they approach it. Do you want to attack with the Guardy here? Do you want to attack with the Mew and get some snipe damage in? What's the play? I think they're in big trouble, though. Especially, yeah, I would at least draw with Mew. Get one more card up. Or... yeah. But I think we're in a good spot regardless. Yeah, we got him. We got him. GG's. So, yeah, Gardevoir there. Mew kind of freaked us out, right? Mew EX is a card you can play in Guardy these days. And that was... yeah, them getting set up where they could actually copy Phantom Dive was horrifying for us, and they did ultimately do some decent damage there. But I think the Turo scenario early on was pretty backbreaking for them, just nullifying like a 2-prize turn right there. And yes, they did soften some stuff up and were able to take a KO later, but losing out on that first KO was pretty painful for them. Also, just really not having the same draw power they did before and evolving into the garbage Kirlia that must have been demoralizing if you've been playing the game like earlier this week when you still had access to Kirlia. But hey, that's where it is now. And again, I don't want you guys to think like, oh, Gardevoir lost Kirlia, deck is dead. It's not dead. It's been doing okay in Japan. It's not the best. It's certainly, and we just saw it here, like what happens when we don't have Kirlia, what can happen, but the deck still has tools. If they were able to get Clefairy EX, or if they had Clefairy EX, they potentially could have turned this thing around. Even so, like that was still a pretty reasonable fight. I think that if I was in their shoes, yeah, I probably would have tried to hold the line with Gardevoir as best I could, but like regardless, it was still looking very bad for them. Again, League Battle Deck putting in work. GG's. There we go. That is a look at the Dragapult League Battle Deck. Again, this will be out on April 28th, and it's going to cost $29.99 US. That's the recommended MSRP. I'm not sure how much it's going to be in your neck of the woods, but the recommended price is $29.99. Again, I think this is arguably the best League Battle deck that Pokemon has ever put out. I think that and Charizard are neck and neck. I personally would give the edge to Dragapult, especially in the current meta where Dragapult is a bit stronger of a deck than Charizard, but Charizard is still insanely powerful in the current format as well. And both decks are probably going to be some of the best decks in the game for the next year. So either way you go, they're both going to be great. If I had to pick one, I would lean towards Dragapult, because Dragapult is going to be standard format legal for at least one more year than Charizard. And if you stuck around all the way till the end here, first off, thank you for watching this far into the video. And I thought I'll reward you with at least a look at a competitive, like a upgraded list for reference when you are upgrading your League Battle deck. This is one that got first place at a City League in Japan, and based on the list I've been seeing, this is pretty indicative of where Dragapult lists are. Of course, people are going to make adjustments, and you should make adjustments based on your personal preferences as well. And so I'll highlight some of the big adjustments here, and one of the big ones that stands out right away is they've only got 2 copies of Dragapult EX to try and make room for other stuff. You're never going to need 4 Dragapults in play at the same time, and I think 2 is the minimum. I personally would be more comfortable with 3, but I do see a lot of lists with 2, and that makes sense. We actually have a really thick Dusknoir line here instead of the Xatu line, and Dusknoir and Dusclops really help with your offense here. Dusclops has the ability Curse Blast, where once during your turn you can put up to 5 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon, and if you use this ability you knock out this Pokemon. And now, yes, you are coughing up a prize, but if this lets you fix the maths, you're taking 2 prizes or what have you, or taking out the big attacker that you otherwise wouldn't be able to KO, then that's going to be worth it. And Dusknoir is even more powerful, where it has the same ability, same explosion, but it drops 13 damage counters instead of 5. And with this, you can set up some absolutely busted combos, taking tons of prizes in a single go. So you are sacrificing your consistency in energy acceleration and maybe coughing up a little bit of draw power, but you are a bit more of an offensive powerhouse with the Dusknoir line in there. In terms of Pokemon inclusions, we've got Budew in here as well, where it has the Itchy Pollen ability, where for 0 energy, your opponent's next turn, they cannot play any items. You do 10 damage as well, but the 10 damage is pretty inconsequential more often than not. But item locking your opponent on as early as the turn 1 going second can be very devastating because so many decks rely on items, and this can give you enough time to get your Dragapult set up and ready to rock. And especially the fact that it's got free retreat makes it even easier. Once Dragapult's ready, you just simply retreat and you start blasting. Other additions to this deck, we've got an extra copy of Arven, an extra copy of Iono, extra copy of Boss, and we have one new card here from Journey Together, Brock Scouting. I've seen a number of lists have this card in here. It either lets you search for 2 basic Pokemon or 1 evolution Pokemon. And the benefit of this versus something like an Ultra Ball is that, yes, it's a supporter, and that's going to be your supporter for turn, but in a scenario where you're item locked by Budew, you can still grab your Pokemon and set up. So Brock Scouting is helpful in that regard. 1 copy of Crispin here instead of the Mela, where you can search your deck for 2 basic energy cards of different types. You'll reveal them, you'll put one of them into your hand, and then that second energy you can attach to one of your Pokemon. It's another way of getting Dragapult set up in 1 turn. And unlike Mela, you don't have to wait till one of your Pokemon gets knocked out in order to use Crispin. The trade-off is Crispin doesn't draw you any cards, but more often than not, you will be in scenarios where you're not necessarily having that knockout scenario. So Crispin, especially in the early game, is going to help you set up a little more consistently. Some other additions here, it's still 2 copies of Rare Candy, an extra counter catcher. Night Stretcher is a really good card in pretty much every deck. Lets you put a Pokemon or a basic energy from your discard pile into your hand. Amazing recovery from the discard pile that pretty much every deck runs. 2 copies of that here. 1 Nest Ball to get our basic Pokemon down. Most Dragapult lists I see have at least 1, maybe 2, in particular to get the Fezandipiti in play. Only 1 copy of Earthen Vessel instead of 2. I've actually seen some Dragapult lists run 0 Earthen Vessel. I personally like 1. I also like this list because it still has the same Unfair Stamp A-Spec, which also comes in the League Battle deck, though Sparkling Crystal is a potential upgrade as well, where you could reduce your attack cost by 1 on Terra Pokemon, so Dragapult can start blasting with only 1 energy. We've also got an XP share here, where if your Pokemon in the active is knocked out by damage, you can move a basic energy from that Pokemon to the Pokemon that this card is attached to. So you'll put this to one of your bench Pokemon, and when Dragapult goes down, you can move that energy over to the next one. Any other adjustments here? Defiance Band, when you're behind on prizes, you are doing an extra 30 damage to your attack to the active. So instead of swinging for 200, you are swinging for 230, and that's going to take a bunch of KOs on big basic EXs like a Miraidon EX or something like that. Even an Iron Hands is going to go down with a Defiance Band hit. And then 1 copy of a Bravery Charm, where this is going to increase basic Pokemon's HP by 30. In particular, you will want this to on your Budew, where this only has 30 HP, and bumping that up to 80 means that Dragapult can't just snipe this out for with that Phantom Dive damage counters, and your opponent can't use Dusclops to blow up and take out the Budew either. One other difference here is that this player included Artisan, which is a great stadium for Dragapult in particular, where once during each player's turn, they can search their deck for a basic Pokemon that doesn't have a rule box and put it onto their bench. So outside of Buddy Poffins, you've got yet again another way of getting basic Pokemon in play. I hope all of that helped. I think the Dragapult League Battle deck out of the box, very strong, and with some upgrades is going to be something that you could take and compete with at any level. Love the deck and love the League Battle deck out of the box, and with it upgraded, it's going to be even better. All right, good luck. I hope I know the inventory and like availability of products is going to vary. I know it's a really tough time in the world of the Pokemon TCG with everything being sold out. I'm not sure what the availability is going to look like for the Dragapult League Battle deck, but I really hope you're able to find this product because it's absolutely amazing. All right, I got to get out of here. Some quick plugs before we go. You can find me on all the things: YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at InThirdPerson. You can find me on Twitch at InThirdPerson, where I stream the Pokemon trading card game every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And check out the website, inthirdperson.com, for more articles and videos on video games, board games, and other nerdy pursuits. So until the next one, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.